Good afternoon, viewers at home. You are welcome to today's edition of the program in the newsroom. My name is Kayode Adibayo. Today we are here once again with interesting topics that has to do with the entire country, the issues affecting Nigeria as a whole, in the area of politics, then in the area of in some other areas where we are witnessing some phenomenon that has affected and still affecting Nigeria. First on the agenda for today is the issues that has to do with Tinubu, Atiku, and Kwakwaso, who in their various bids to clinch the presidential power in 2023 have been offering solution to the nation's healing economy. And that will come under the topic Tinubu, Atiku, the Kwakwaso offer solutions to the healing economy. Then we are still going to look at how the endorsement of Tinubu and Peter Obi have been creating a kind of a rift between the members of the Southwest Socio-Political Group, Afenifere. That will come under the topic Rift Widens in Southwest over Afenifere endorsements. Then thirdly, we are going to look at the flooding, the issue of flooding that has been ravaging parts of the country in recent times and the damage that has been done. And in spite of the fact that the damage has caused a lot of havoc, especially in the area of food production, the federal government is still boasting that Nigeria cannot experience food shortage. So how they are going to go about it? We are going to look at these issues, as my guests are already with me in the house, to look at the issue pertinently and probably discuss it passionately. Shola Ajibori, I welcome you on the program. Shola Ajibori.
It's my pleasure, Kayode. And good evening, viewers, and good evening, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you. Seyi Adeni is also here with me.
Good afternoon,
welcome.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon, viewers at home.
All right, now let's start the program. Tinubu, Atiku, Obi, Kwakwaso offer solutions to healing economy. Shola, if we look at the daunting challenges facing Nigeria in the area of economy, all these presidential aspirants, are they not joking? Are they serious with the solution? The solutions they are trying to offer to the healing economy.
Well, apart from the snippets of interviews, some of these presidential aspirants, offer.
Okay.
Maybe they are asked by reporters their issues on the economy, and some specifics of the economy. And those are the things that one can even say. I mean, one way or the other, maybe they are only reacting to issues about the economy.
Okay.
They cannot be said to be offering solutions.
Okay.
Because the economic problems we have are so complex now, and that when you look at the assessments of so many people on the economy, particularly look at what the former Emir of Kano and the former CBN governor, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, said about the economy, is so fundamental, is so fundamental, so daunting, that he himself, he has not, from what he said, from various public utterances of the former CBN government, he has not spotlighted any of these presidential aspirants actually having what we call a groundwork that can provide solutions to the myriad of economic problems that we have now. Okay. In other words, none of these presidential aspirants has been able to effectively address the fundamental challenges facing the economy today. Okay. So we should be wary of saying they are offering solutions. When you're offering solutions, it means you must have hit the bottom of the problem or challenge, and then you must have assessed the problems, and then you must have some remedies based on empirical facts. So I've not seen any of them I've not seen any of these presidential candidates actually coming out to speak about the fundamental problems, besetting the Nigerian economy and the solutions that are needed. And I think the media is yet to do that kind of groundwork. We must have more of forums, more of the Arewa forum and another forum should now be intensified. Let us interrogate all of these presidential aspirants, because like Lamido said, that it pities that he looks at all these presidential candidates who want to just become president, that he pities each and every one of them. And before the CBN, somebody of Lamido's status can say something, he said he pities them. It means that he has not seen any of them actually addressing the rot, the economic challenge that we're having. Look at the Naira today now. It's over 800 to a dollar. The next year's budget is not even sure. As a layman, I don't see any budget in sight. If you have to fund a budget by borrowing up to 70%, it means there is no money to fund the budget. So there's a lot of things that are, the inflation so galloping that you cannot even assess it anymore. So, and then we are talking of the ability of the government to even make money is being questioned day by day. I'm talking of revenue sourcing. The capacity of government for revenue sourcing is being questioned day by day. Because if the government keeps borrowing and borrowing, it means that the capacity to make money is suspect. It's no longer there. So these are issues. There are so many fundamental issues that are there. It's not just not just answering the voters' question alone.
All right.
It's beyond that.
All right. Thank you. Sheyi, what is your take on these presidential candidates, especially the four of them, the four frontliners, offering solution to the aging economy?
Thank you so much, Kadi. I think the first thing that we need to understand is that the crop of leaders we have today, majorly they are the one who created the problem. So for them to give a solution, yes, they can give a solution to the problem, but I doubt it if the solution will be 21st century compliance. Talking of economy, and if you not see our politicians these days, they've studied Nigerians to the extent that all we need is just tell them what they want to hear. Because if by now a serious presidential candidate should by now not just not just reacting to or answering questions, should have taking us down how the problem, the deep of the problem, how deeper the problem are, and the problems are, and how he intends to bring us out of the problem. Not that just meeting people or answering questions from journalists that, okay, this is what I want to do. It's beyond just giving us it's rhetoric, just giving us normal thing of we'll do this, we'll galvanize this. No, it's beyond that, because as we speak today, Naira is over 800 Naira per dollar. So, and someone that, and if you look at the humongous promises, given us by the present administration, I mean the Buhari-led federal government in 2015, I see each time I've checked the manifestos and all the promises, I still ask myself who is now asking questions, who is now giving us what they have done. And almost the same style of 2015 is what they are also employing now to tell us that, okay, we'll solve the problem. Just allow us to, even one of the as a candidate said, just drive me there. Just drive me there. It's beyond. If you drive me there, you not get to that seat. What do you want to use the seat for? What do you want to use the power for? It's beyond. We'll do this. It's beyond promises. We've had a lot of promises. Even take for example, recently I was querying Peter Obi. I said he granted an interview. He said I told him to prepare documents, I need to prepare manifesto. I can be reading my manifesto extempore. I said, you want to govern Nigeria? Nigeria is taking cognizance of our complexity, the ethnicity and other things, and the population and the number. I just during the end document. And even when I query that, we still have some people, even well-educated ones, that are still telling me that what the problems in the time what are they doing about it. So, but what we are the problem now, you must let us know how deep the problem and how it is beyond. I will do it.
All right.
In practical time.
Okay. Now let me come back to Shola. Now that in your own view, this presidential candidate are not offering any solution to the Kenyan economy. Now, what will you prefer that they do in order to offer solution, so that to just tell us or to convince us that they have solution to Nigerian economic problems?
For instance, how will I expect anybody wanting to lead this country now to tell me what he will do, what he or she will do to show up the value of the naira within 6 months? I mean, at a stage maybe 300 to even a graduated form. I expect what a leader that wants to lead now will do to show up the value of the naira. That's number one. I expect what a leader, what somebody who wants to be the president of Nigeria will do to resuscitate the collapsed national grid within 6 months. I expect a leader who wants to lead this country to give me a timetable of execution, a program of execution of the manufacturing sector that has gone moribund. Maybe within a year, I want to put certain manufacturing sectors in place. I expect a would-be president of Nigeria to tell me how he's going to at least arrest the theoretic security situation in Nigeria within 6 months. I expect that president to give me the formula. If he's actually ready to govern, give us a formula of how do you want to do all these things. In fact, give us a time frame. So it's not rhetoric now. It's beyond rhetoric and response to I want to do. No. In fact, it's beyond campaign promises. You see, the would-be president of Nigeria today must be an adaptive person, like a Churchill. Churchill is still regarded as the greatest prime minister Britain has ever had, because he was a man who could adapt to any situation. He was a scholar, a soldier, a diplomat, anything. So he was able to turn Britain not only around, but he was able to stand Britain to face the challenges of that time. Britain was, at that time, he was a war prime minister. Britain was in war with Germany. But he was able to, because he could adapt to any situation. So I expect a leader of Nigeria now who can adapt to situations. I expect a leader who will not be seen as belonging to anybody. Not the rhetoric of I belong to any. No. Who is able to demonstrate that thing, that I'm president of Nigeria and I'm here. In fact, I expect a leader that will be a rescue, that will say I'm on a rescue mission and I want to rescue this country, because the country is already in the precipice, moving very close to the precipice. So as a matter of fact, I don't pity who wants to lead this country now. I pity anybody who says he wants to lead this country now, because the president must not even see Aso Rock as what I call it, as a fortress of fortune or revelry. You should see Aso Rock as a stone of body. So I expect whoever wants to lead this country now to rise above every primordial limitations. In fact, I expect a superhuman. I expect a superhuman now. It's only a superhuman who has all his guts, who can think so fast, who can write so fast, who can provide solutions so fast, who is so proactive, who can think well above everybody. So that's the kind of leader that I expect.
All right. Sheyi, now that it seems as if the presidential candidate have not been offering solution to the economic situation that Nigeria is in now, what will you prefer them to do?
Thank you. I think the first thing we need to do now, as we are today in Nigeria, our values the value has been reduced to nothing. So the state of corruption, the state of social crisis is at very alarming rate. So the first thing that the person that want to lead this country out of the problems we are, we first need to reorientate Nigerians, and also the area of corruption. There's no way you have a lofty idea, good manifestos and the rest. If you still continue in the pedestal of this corruption, there's no way we'll come out of, because corruption is not about just stealing money. It's more than that. Even nepotism is a way of it's a corruption, and they also silly people from being prosecuted, and it's also true. So the first is the person that want to lead this country, that want to take us out of the dungeon we are, must also be ready to show us its capacity in the area of fighting corruption.
Okay.
That is very, very fundamental, because as we are today, the system has the little system we have that we are just managing has collapsed. So not until we are able to raise the system back, and we can only raise the system back by reorientating the people, and the person that will do that also, his lifestyle, his antecedents also will speak. Because you cannot tell me you want to lead us or want to do Nigeria, and you cannot ascribe something good, or you cannot tell us what you have done, how you have done it, beyond we've done this before. Take for example, Peter Obi sometimes said, if you want to know what I can do if I become the president, go to Anambra State. So you're now asking me from Oshogbo to drive down to Anambra to see what he has done the last when he was the governor. So it's beyond that.
Before you can make decisions.
Exactly. So it's beyond that, and the first thing that I personally have is issue of corruption. We need to tackle it. If we continue, even if you are bringing your own good deeds, you are bringing your own good manifestos, once you enter the system is like Dr. Faroumi said it, that he said Nigeria is like a computer. He said the hardware, which is the constitution, has crashed. He said the software, which are the people, the leaders, they have already they've infected viruses. So at the end of the day, the system has gone. So we need to start from there. We must tell us I want to fight the corruption. Not that you allow me. Imagine when President Buhari was coming, he said the issue of corruption, just give me 6 months, everything will sanitize the system, and you see the kind of what you are witnessing today. So that is very, very important. And in the area of economy, and you must go to the place that want to lead this country, must go to each state to first identify their problems. What are their challenges? And also what do they have as a way of either mineral sources or what can bring economic prosperity to that state. So once we are able to identify each state with their own peculiarity, so we'll be able to know how I want to. If we just are sitting in Lagos or in Anambra or in Dubai or in Abuja and say I want to rule this country, it cannot work.
All right. Thank you. Now, gentlemen, let's go to the second topic of our discussion for today, where we have is that the rift widens in Southwest over Afenifere endorsements. But before we go full scale into the topic, let us have the video clip of the endorsement from the other side.
Peter Obi is the person of Igbo structure that the Afenifere has decided to support and to back. He is the man we trust to restructure the country back to federalism on the assumption of office. We enjoy the labor movement, students, youth organizations, women associations, and every institution whose foundation is built on fairness and justice to join hands in this task of exploding a democratic government by supporting Peter Obi. If we are sincere and honest about keeping Nigeria together in peace, the slogan henceforth should be to keep Nigeria one, everybody should be Obidati compliant.
Yeah, that was one part of the endorsement where the Afenifere leader, Chief Adebanjo, openly, publicly endorsed Peter Obi. And we have another incident where Ruben Fashoranti, another leader of Afenifere, has also publicly endorsed Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, these two incidents has already created rifts among the socio-political group. Shola, what do you make of these endorsements?
Well, I want to start from my own understanding what I've read about Afenifere.
Okay.
I think Afenifere was established by Chief Obafemi Awolowo based on some fundamental principles.
Okay.
The principles of equity, justice, and fairness. Those are the principles that back Afenifere.
Yeah.
And when you look at the way Awolowo ran Afenifere at that time, you remember that Awolowo supported an Igbo man against his own even his own kinsman, or the other of Ishara.
Okay.
Afenifere had a kind of course, it had a regional root, but when you look at the principles and the objective that it espoused,
okay,
it was national.
Yeah.
So Afenifere was established to galvanize national ethos and principles,
Okay.
even if the body was formed by a corps of Yoruba intelligentsia. So, except that principle has changed, except we have had a kind of a paradigm shift now from what we all knew Afenifere to be, then one can say that it is incongruous for Afenifere to either support a Peter Obi or an Ahmed by Bola Tinubu.
Okay.
So it has to be on the principles of equity, justice, and fairness.
Okay.
But today we now have a kind of a rift whereby Fashoranti,
Yeah.
who originally submitted his leadership to Ayo Adebanjo, citing old age and all that, retiring as leader of Afenifere, and giving the mantle to Ayo Adebanjo. Now today we are now seeing what is going on, which is unsettling,
Yeah.
which is unsettling, which is not okay,
Yeah.
for the revered, for the respect that we have for the Yoruba nation.
Yeah.
So, and I want to believe that what it is now, the leaders themselves will have to call themselves together,
Yeah.
and strike a kind of a balance that will not portray the Yorubas as divided.
Okay.
Today, we can now see that Yorubas are divided and it is very, very important, even though Afenifere was a socio-cultural political group,
Yeah.
it must also be done on it that the leaders of Afenifere today must also realize that even though Afenifere had a political undertone, but there were fundamental principles that guided the operations of the Pan-Yoruba group.
Okay.
The Pan-Yoruba group was established to protect the interests of the Yorubas, fine, of course, it is there. But at the same time, it had guiding principles that did not foreclose the inclusion of other ethnic groups. Otherwise, I wouldn't have supported, I think, Banujik or whatever. And you know that there are so many non-Yorubas that got their political limelight by being members or supporters of Afenifere. Gomsu Ikoku was one. Gomsu Ikoku contested against his father and won on the ticket of Afenifere. He was an Igbo man, isn't it? Wasn't he? He was an Igbo man. There were a lot of people who are not Yorubas, but who believe in the principles of Afenifere, the principles of equity, justice, and fairness. So, and I think whatever may be the situation today, these leaders must not allow Afenifere to die by veering away from its fundamental principles.
All right. Thank you, Shola. See, now the endorsement by Afenifere that is now leading to kind of controversy. What is your take?
Thanks so much. There's this Yoruba adage which says that Agbakiwa Loja Kiyojo. I think I want to sincerely call our leaders to also think of something. That God has been so gracious to them. They've seen their later part of their lives. So also they should consider those that are coming behind. So this will give us a very good platform. This will give us a very good organization that also some people like us also can also be proud to be members when the time comes. When I read the stories coming from from the two sides, I was like, if there's any area that you think you need to but personally claim that when Pa Adebayo endorsed Peter Obi, he didn't inform him. Okay. So also Baba Pastor is also endorsed Tinubu now. So I don't need to inform after all when he endorsed Adebayo endorsed Peter Obi, he didn't inform me. So I don't have any obligation on anything to also to inform me. And as a matter of fact, I see the leader of the organization when last year, March 16, 2021, when Baba convened a meeting, the general meeting of Afenifere.
Who among them?
Yeah, sir?
Who among them?
First on team. Okay. Last March 16, 2021, that he publicly announced Pa Adebayo to take as the acting leader. Okay. Because Baba started what happened during when I just left. Okay. That there was a kind of issues that also almost divided the group. So and they were doing that because there was he has not I just didn't endorse his successor before he left. Okay. So for us not to have that kind of issue now, so he's now endorsing to take over from him. Now the Havana is now saying that is this the leader that in any meeting that the meeting will be they would have having meeting in Akure. So I think that area they should not allow politics to. And as a matter of fact, what Afenifere should do, either Pa Adebayo or Pa Fasonti, is the first thing they ought to have done. And those people is not it's not what should be paramount now. The first thing should be paramount, like about the person that when Afenifere was formed. It was formed based on principles of equity, fairness. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Pa Adebayo has studied the manifesto of Peter Obi to know maybe the manifesto is in tandem with the principle of Afenifere. I'm not sure whether Pa Fasonti has studied the manifesto of APC Tinubu to know what is embedded in the manifesto. Is it in tandem with what we believe in as and just rushing to the media to endorse? I think if someone cited Arewa Kozogu, for example, up to now they are still inviting presidential candidates. Come and tell us what you want to do. Let us know your agenda. That's what the Afenifere want to have done before going to the media to endorse here and there. Endorsement does not, as a matter of fact, does not tell you to vote for. Okay. Because where we are now, we have moved beyond the old style or old age of politics. Now that people now cannot just law people to do what they are not, what is against their own vision, their belief. So it's beyond endorsing. Let us first study the manifesto of this, even that of PDP. invite him. Let us see what you want to do. Are you planning to restructure the country? Are you planning to take us back to operate through federalism? All those stuff. So now we now know the party that is having it, we endorse.
All right. Thank you, Sheyi. So let me come back to you. In the first topic of our discussion, we look at the solution being offered to the alien economy, which you people said is not to write on the ballot. Now, let us look down deep into this endorsement galore, I would say. Now, look at the enormity of the challenges ahead, the issues at stake in Nigeria today. Should endorsement of candidates be based on sentiment? Because if you listen to especially Payo Adebanjo, they say principle of fairness, equity, justice, and which is true. But then, beyond those sentiments, and in view of the enormity of the challenges ahead, should the endorsement be based on wherever you come in the country?
Something. I said something about my first reaction to the first question.
Yeah.
That we need a Churchill. At this critical stage in our country's life, we need somebody we need a Churchill to lead us. A Churchill is somebody who is adaptive to any situation. So we need a leader that can take very hard decisions. In fact, we need a leader that can pay the supreme sacrifice anytime. In fact, that's exactly where Nigeria is now today. Nigeria needs a fundamental overhauling of its socio-economic and political structure. Except you have a leader who has that understanding, who has that courage, that candor to look at evil in the face and tell it, and denounce it. So we need a leader who can take very hard decisions, a leader who will see Nigeria as beyond anything, rather than Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, Fulani. A leader can come from anywhere. I as a person I'm not an ethnic chauvinist. I believe in ability to serve.
Yeah.
If you have the ability to serve, fine, you're fine with me. You can come from Kutuwenji or whatever. I don't care. But we need a leader who understands this country and who can govern this country along that understanding. A leader that will lead and take everybody along. The Afenifere, a cardinal objective of the Afenifere was restructuring, because it was Awolowo's belief that regionalism was the best, and even up to today, there are no evidence to suggest otherwise, because we have not been led along that path of collective understanding, along a path that will allow every Nigerian to have a sense of belonging, along a path that will allow every segment of Nigeria to grow at its own pace, and then be loyal to the center. Yeah. You can grow at your own pace and still be loyal. The regional premiers were competent. They administered their regions effectively, and they were still loyal to the central government. And Nigeria was moving progressively. So we need a leader that can take us back to that era, and we don't need just anybody, not any idiot on holding power or office. A leader who is up to the task. A leader who does not even sleep. We need a Churchill. We need an American. We need a Kennedy, an American. We need an American president to rule us now. So let us forget about all these sentiments and this and that. No, but anybody who does not understand what Nigeria is and what can drive Nigeria to greatness is not competent to rule.
All right.
That's my take.
All right, thank you, Shola. See, now looking at we are still on the rift being created by the manner of endorsing Tinubu and Obi. Now, what should be the yardstick for endorsing candidates?
like I said the other time, the first thing our leaders need to understand and to do now is to first invite, or at least we have close to 18 presidential candidates.
Yes.
So at least look at maybe the 10 of them, invite them one by one, query their manifestos, check their accidents, engage them.
Okay.
So now at the end of the day, you're able to know which one is carrying or is planning to rule or to govern us through or by virtue of what the everybody believes in. So then that can guide. But because of this sentiment of it will not help us. It will not help us if not because of the level of distrust we have. As a Nigerian, that we believe all of us, Nigeria is one.
Yeah.
It shouldn't matter where the president is coming from. It should not be the yardstick. Because if you are not from the south, or if you are not from the north, you cannot be the president. It shouldn't be. But because of the level of disintegration in the country, we no longer believe in ourselves. We don't trust one another. It shouldn't be Fulani, it shouldn't be Yoruba, it shouldn't be Igbo. No. And the candidates also, they are trying to leverage and they are trying to also to win sentiment. That I'm one of you. Just trust me. We are doing your bidding. It shouldn't. But the president should be the president of the country. It should not be the president for a particular region. But I want to advise in my only knowledge as a young boy that they should take time to study the manifestos, the programs, the policies, the agenda of all these candidates to know which one is representing their own interest, representing what advantage carries. So there they will be able to unanimously know that part will be endorsing Peter Obi and part will be, and if we are to go by what Baba said last year, that during his whole lifetime, don't want an family that will be divided. Okay. And what is happening now is gradually, there's division, and they should not allow politicians to divide them. They should not allow politicians, but politicians will come, will look for opportunity. Once they be able to grab the opportunity, just go away. I will leave you to your own fate. They should not allow politicians to divide them, but they should critically study, scrutinize the candidates to know which one is representing the fairness, representing equity, and are ready to do what is just for Nigerians.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Let's move on. Flooding, another topic for discussion. Flooding, Nigeria can't experience food shortage. That is coming from the federal government. So that if you look at the quantum of damage that has been done by flooding in this country, especially this year, the federal government is now coming out to say that Nigeria cannot experience food shortage. Is there any magic that the federal government intends to do? Because the part people fear now is that it is going to have adverse effect on food production. In view of the way the farmlands have been washed away.
In fact, I first want to know who made that statement on behalf of the federal government. Is it the Minister of Agriculture? Or who's that minister?
I think it's Minister of Agriculture after the Federal Executive Council meeting.
Was it not the same man that said that the flooding was an act of God? Was it the same man? Yeah. You see, some of these people, the way the utterances, public utterances of a minister, of any public officer at that level, tells a lot about the government and about the nation. You see, perhaps some of these people don't know that whatever that the world is not a global village. That whatever is said here or anywhere is already known all over the world, and then it is not only known, it is now open to assessments by reasonable men and women all over the world. So when a minister says that first of all, it's an act of God, now putting responsibilities of man onto God, shifting, passing. What you're supposed to, what you're expected to do, you are not putting it on to God to do. That's number one. Now, secondly, you are saying that there will be any food shortage. Does the government spokesman or does the federal government know the extent of the damage caused by this flood? As a matter of fact, when the flood was ravaging and destroying homes and farmlands, the president was in North Korea, South Korea or North Korea for a summit. So that time getting out when such an horrendous ecological problem would have attracted the attention, the presence of every government agency. As a matter of fact, if such a thing should occur, let me say in America, I know that Biden will be on the chopper. Biden will be on the chopper supervising evacuation. Biden, the president himself, will be on the chopper. Lowering, so many things. You will see all the armada of the American Navy and all that. People diving, supervising rescue operations and delivering relief materials, evacuating people to safe areas. I don't think I've not witnessed that in any of those flood ravaged areas. And here is a government. Well, I can say, it predated this government anyway. Nigeria ought to have constructed a composite bridge and a composite dam to stop the perennial, overflow of the Cameroonian dam. It has been abandoned for over 9 years. Nobody has. And flood now came, and one minister was saying, "An act of God." So I believe that those who are holding offices in this country should stop saying the offices as privileges or the avenues to just make themselves comfortable, make themselves rich. It is not the office that you hold that matters, that makes you successful. It is what you hold, it is what you do with that office. It's not the position. You can be minister, you can be anything. You can hold about 10 ministerial titles. It may not make you a successful person. I may not be anything, and you can be a successful person. It depends on what impact have you made. Look at for the federal government now to look. Okay, I think the next question should be: federal government now says there's no cause for alarm, that there's going to be food. How would the same government make food available in view of the damages the flood has wrought? More than half of Kogi State is almost inundated. Rivers, Bayelsa is so terrible. And you are not telling me that what food will come from those areas. Already, those that are not ravaged by flood are facing problems of insecurity. Farmers are either running away from the farm, or they are not even going to the farms at all. So that's why I said the problems bedeviling Nigeria today is so overwhelming and complex that we need a leader that is willing to pay even the supreme sacrifice.
Okay. All right.
So, but such statements are so nauseating to me.
All right. See, if we flooding in Nigeria can't experience food shortage, that is coming from the federal government. Don't you think that probably the federal government has a kind of strategy to put in place in order to prevent food shortage?
There's this slang, say Othello. They just issue statements, just tell them what they want to hear, and then we move. Because I don't know the magic, I don't know the what they want to use to produce food. And as a matter of fact, when I read the statement, he said the Nigerians should not panic, that they are on top of those that are the communities, the people that have been ravaged by this flood. What has the government done? Even to pacify these people, to provide the kind of palliatives for them. Nothing. Even the president himself has not deemed it fit to even to visit any of these communities. So now, you could remember during the time of President Jonathan, once there's a bomb attack somewhere, before less than 24 hours, will have been there also to sympathize with them, also to let them see that he's feeling for them. But we have president that don't care about, maybe people are dying or people are losing their lives, losing their loved ones, because by now a serious president should have visited almost all the areas that are affected by this. But unfortunately, it's not coming out from it. And now just sit down in Abuja, issue no statement that we should not panic. I think the only thing we should tell Nigeria is that they should also get prepared. They should look for ways to also to produce food for themselves. Because I read it said we have enough of grains in silos that we should not. And this one, the African Development Bank is give them some loans. So if I want to access a loan now to plan for, he said during the dry season they have plans to go into massive grains or all of that, and it's immediately that will now be reaping what we sow. And so the best thing for us for Nigerians to also get prepared for what to come, because before now what we are envisaging or what we are our fear before was the issue of insecurity. The farmers couldn't access their family. Now that family has also joined, the only thing we should tell them is to get prepared also as we are moving towards dry season.
All right, thank you, Sheyi. Sola, before we round up on the program for today, we have the issue of insecurity affecting production of food. We have the issue of flooding now happening, compounding the situation that we are. What will you advise that should be done in order to prevent, at least to mitigate the problem of food shortage that is looming now?
But I want the government to first of all embark on a three-pronged approach. There must be a kind of an immediate rescue mission. Okay. All those areas that have been ravaged by flood, that government should have a kind of a massive evacuation, rehabilitation, and of course delivery of relief materials to those areas. Number two, the federal government, even if it's not in the budget, they will have to consider completing the dam. Okay. That's that should be the composite dam to the Cameroonian. They have to do that. In fact, it has to start immediately.
Buffer dam.
Yeah, buffer dam. Okay. Then thirdly, there must be a comprehensive security network. Okay. Those areas that are not being ravaged now, we now say insecurity has joined it. So it means the government will have to take a holistic look now at the country's security architecture to ensure that farmers who have farms, who still have farms that are going to be washed away, can still have access to those farms.
All right. Thank you, Shola. So quickly before we round off, now what will you advise that the federal government should do in order to at least minimize the looming food shortage in the country?
The advice now may not work now, but I think in the nearest future I will be saying it. I will continue to say that what we can do now to take us out of the problems, out of the challenges we have is to go back to agriculture, and we can only do that by also trying to identify areas that most especially the farmers, not the lack of farmers, the real farmers that need just little amount of money to do their planting, to do their production, and also to empower them, to let them have access to soft loans so that they be able to produce. And also for example, we can be producing in Osun, and Osun can be also exporting to other neighboring states. It is doable, it is possible, but our government should think outside the box to look critically into agriculture and empower the farmers.
All right, thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the program today. Shola, I really appreciate your coming. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Sheyi, thank you for coming today.
Thanks for having me. Thanks so much.
Yeah. All right, viewers at home, this is where we are going to call it quits for today on the program. Tomorrow is another day for a fresh edition of the program where you'll be meeting another colleague of mine. I am Kayode Adebayo. Bye-bye.